Hello everyone. I cannot believe that I'm about to do the 2023 channeled predictions. What a year 2022 has been. Am I right? We made it. Yeah, I've never done this on YouTube before. It's been in a newsletter format, so it's new to me to be channeling all of this information in video format. So bear with me. I normally just straight channel, but since I knew there was going to be so much information coming in, I have some notes here just to make sure that this is as well-rounded a channeling as possible. When I was dropping in, meditating, doing a little bit of body work before this video, I was calling in my guides and I was asking them to help me with this video, with this channeling, and they were like, okay, so what is your intention for this video? And I was sitting in that, and above everything is I want you to leave watching this video feeling empowered. This is a really big part of this collective consciousness shift that we are just knee deep in now, and 2023 is going to be pivotal in this collective consciousness shift, this awakening that we're in, that we came here to facilitate. So above all, my intention is for you to feel empowered watching this. And I also feel called to share within that is that being a channeler has been really interesting the past few years, because as the energy shifts, timelines fall off much quicker. From my understanding, maybe 50 years ago, even before that, even within that, channeling something like this, there was one sort of straightforward path, and it was very easy to kind of see the path that someone is going to walk down, whether it's an individual or it's a collective. But because of all of this energy that's coming onto the planet, all of the light, and again, just all of these shifts, the vibration shift, timelines switch much quicker. So my job in with this video is to do my best with the energy that we are currently in, knowing that everything that I share today, it's not set in stone. What it comes down to is our work together as a collective, where we are at energetically as a collective. So anything that I say, especially in the narrative of, I don't want to say doom and gloom, because that's never my intention for channeling, but anything within that field, I really want you to feel empowered that we are able to change that. And as I was sitting and writing some things down that my guides wanted me to share, we have swerved so many timelines the past few years, and we have the power to continue doing that. So anything that comes through me today, please know that it is not set in stone. So before I really start opening up the channel, let's just do a quick drop into our bodies, ground the energy, so you can close down your eyes if you're in this space to do so, or maybe just find a downward gaze. And let's just take a big inhale up. Open mouth, exhale out. One more here, big inhale up. Open mouth, exhale out. If you're feeling a little anxious or jittery while we're here, you can imagine roots, like the roots of a tree, dropping down from your body down into the center of the earth, allowing all of that anxious energy to drip down through your body, releasing it into your roots and away into the earth. So let's get into it. I will most likely be closing my eyes a lot during this video, because when I'm channeling energy, it is easier for me to close down my eyes and really direct my attention inwards, because that's where all the information is channeling. So let me see where they want to begin. So when I was tuning into an energetic theme for 2023, immediately I was shown a rocket ship, and like kind of like more of like the cartoon sort of rocket ship, if you know what I'm talking about. But immediately I was directed to the engines at the bottom, if that's the correct term, I don't know, and the fire that comes out of the engines at the bottom. And what my guides were showing with me is like this propulsion energy, this very fiery and like this quick burst, this quick propulsion of energy coming out of the bottom of the rocket. And that's the visual image that they keep showing me. And so that's the energetic theme for 2023, is the propulsion. And again, I'm seeing a lot of yellow and red and orange, so a lot of sacral energy right now. Currently we are almost to the end of December, like it's December 28th, I want to say, or 29th when I'm doing this. And already there's a lot of sacral energy clearing happening, and our sacral chakra has a lot to do with emotions. So where we store our emotions, where we might store others' emotions if we are empathic and open beings. The energy in this chakra can also be our creative energy and our sexual energy. So there's a lot. This is where the womb is held. So again, that creation energy. We're experiencing a massive clearing of that right now. Like for me, I have a lot going on in my right hip, a lot of clearing in like my hip flexor and psoas, and I know it's directly tied to the sacral energy chakra clearing. And tying this into 2023 is there is going to be a massive up level in these energy centers for us. And with this propulsion energy and sort of this like launching of a rocket, this message that came through is that your launching is inevitable. So I want to read what I channeled through with my guides earlier, and what it was is you don't have to see all the tangible results in order to see that you can trust the work you've done. It's working, it's working, it's working beautifully. The contrast is all part of the plan. It's working, it's working, it's working. And I know with 2022, that was a massive clearing. I mean, I felt like on the daily, I was like, okay, which energy center is like purging right now? Which part of my life is going to collapse today? Like it was a lot. It was a lot of up and down energy. And the difference between the 2022 energy and the 2023 energy is it's kind of this upward trajectory. And of course, life is going to happen in between that, but again, it feels very quick, it feels very fast, timelines shift very quickly. Coming back to this launching energy, which this message is really directed at my spiritual healers, light workers, star seeds, whatever resonates with you, however you want to conceptualize sort of this coming into physical body during this time to help shift the collective consciousness, you know, whatever term you want to throw at that, is your launching is inevitable this year. And I'm saying that with a smile because I'm like, hey, I'm right there with you. I feel that. And 2022 was a prep energy for that. And let me see what they want to come through with a little bit of wisdom around this. Just that you don't have to feel the fear anymore. It's going to be really easy to let that go as you step into this version of self that your soul crafted and intended for you to be in this lifetime. It doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to feel so scary. Allow this energy, this propulsion energy, to feel natural. Allow it to feel authentic to you, and it's a shedding of those layers that you placed upon yourself in order to protect, in order to hide, in order to make your way through this world that might have felt unfamiliar to your natural state of being. So allow this to be an unveiling of self. Allow it to happen quickly. Know that you are guided and you are held. You are launching this rocket. I love that. So I know that I'm not the only channeler who has been saying this about 2023, is that it's the year of the healer. I haven't watched any other videos on predictions of 2023 because I really wanted to keep my channel clear, but I have been hearing little bits and pieces randomly of 7 being a very spiritual number, and 2 + 2 + 3 is 7, and yeah, there's going to be a really big uptick. And for those who have been feeling anxious or fearful or whatever comes up around you really stepping into this side of self, know that it is going to feel more natural and organic this year just because of the energy, and it's inevitable. Your launching is inevitable. Okay, let me see where they want to go next around everything. So one of the things that I channeled very early on, and this is going to get into around disclosures and extraterrestrials as well, is that we don't know the true origin stories. Well, we do on a more internal level, but on an external level, the true origin story of our species has been silenced, is how they want to say it. It's been diluted. It's been watered down to fit a certain narrative, is how my guides want to phrase it. And there's a little nod towards the Catholic Church here, and holding space for all religions, all ways of walking through life, right? But there is a strong connection between how do I want to phrase this, between the accessing of our true origin story as a species, that has been blocked by certain people in power, and that there is a connection to the Catholic Church. And what else do they want to say around this? And they're drawing my attention to like the Middle East, and you know what's going on right now is massive. This revolution that is happening with human rights, women rights, autonomy over our bodies, freedom of expression, and especially around women's rights. I mean, the souls that incarnated into these bodies during this time are truly, I have goosebumps as I'm saying this, they are truly rebellious in nature, but just so strong and powerful in nature, and the work that they're doing is truly shifting humanity. So keeping our eyes around that. And there's a lot of still, you know, continuing from 2022, still a lot of energy present in the Middle East. I also want to say with Russia and Ukraine, China, I mean that heat is going to still continue to build, but holding the vision again, knowing that we have skirted around this is the word they want to use, disastrous timelines that that as a collective we have the power to shift and to move into something new. So knowing that all of this tension is building collectively around the world, and yes, there is still going to be this war energy present, it's going to become more and more clear as we start to understand our true origin story as a species, like where we actually came from. And again, with this word of empowerment, it's going to empower us to understand how we can become energetic activists. Ooh, I love that word. I've never channeled that through before. Energetic activism is something I've been touching on my social media throughout this year, of understanding how our own energy impacts the collective, and that we don't always necessarily have to be doing all of these external actions that in the past we might have been shamed for not doing, and that it's continuing to do our healing work. So continuing to go inward and knowing that our internal work is what shifts the collective on an individual level and a collective level, right? When we want to see shifts in our personal life, we go inward. When we want to see shifts in the collective, we go inward. And we will start to see the fruits of that labor this year, but I get that 2024 is really when that stuff starts to become inevitable. Okay, they're wanting to pull me in a few different directions here, and this is what's happening. What happens when you channel, and when you channel live on a video. Anyone who's done a reading with me knows that I can go in tangents when I open up the channel. I want to take that back into what we were talking about before. Yeah, it's energetic activism. And something else that they wanted to add around that is small acts of kindness that shifts the collective more than we can tangibly see right now. But trust what feels good in your body. Trust where you feel guided to go. And know that it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to take breaks from digesting information. Again, similar to 2022, is there's still going to be a lot of information present. And know that it's okay, as I'm burping, to set boundaries. Use that throat chakra, set boundaries, and to trust where your intuition is guiding you in all of this. There's no one collective way to move through this healing of the world, this shift in the world. So if you're feeling the pressure from outside resources, from outside systems, from people, whatever it is, trust where your gut is guiding you, and you being embodied and in your power is what shifts the collective more than sort of these pressures to act in an external way, right? And then tying all of this back into it's interesting because they're directing me to Taiwan, but I'm not sure where they want to go with that. Just a lot of energy present over there too. So again, holding the vision as things start to heat up. But going back into disclosure. So I had channeled at the beginning of 2022 that we could potentially experience more of a physical disclosure, as in seeing beings. And there was a point midway through 2022 where that timeline was very strong, but unfortunately that was a timeline that we did not go down. And so the disclosure process is happening now. And there are times when I will be walking through the world and I will see a being and they're in physical body, and I know that they are not of this world, if that makes sense. Their energetic signature is different. There are, from what I've channeled, from what I've experienced, trust your own intuition on this, but there are beings in our world that are able to shapeshift. And they are able to shift into more of a physical, denser, human 3D body. So there are times when I'm out in the world and I'm like, yep, I see you. So yes, that is happening, but the actual disclosure process that is happening right now is with all of this unearthing, literally unearthing of these artifacts. There's so much connection to stuff being unearthed in Egypt, and the disclosure process is directly tied to us understanding our origin story as a species, because it is much more galactic than we have been led to believe. So once we start to unearth, what has been buried underneath, which is inevitable with these energetic shifts that are happening in the world, that more and more is going to be unearthed. It is going to become physically tangible for us to understand that our DNA is galactic. We are a hybrid of different species. So we have been sort of designed, if you want to use that word, with multiple different galactic species in our DNA, because the true intention of creating human beings as we know them now was to create peace within the universe. And if we had all of these different origins of different species within us, galactic species beings, if we were able to find peace within ourselves and peace on this earth, then that would mean that it was possible to have it out in the universe. So that is going to become more and more apparent this year. Again, this disclosure process is happening. Feels like the timeline that we've gone down on this is that it needs to happen on a more tangible level in order for there to be less fear. Like scientists, archaeologists, people in that field need to be finding this tangible evidence of galactic species being present on this earth back in the day in order for us to understand our true origin story. When I channeled this through, my guide said that we only know about 20% of our true origin story. So that is going to be literally massively unearthed. With that tied into it too, we're going to, how do they want to phrase this? The earth is not necessarily, again, what we've been told to believe. Like how big earth is, what earth contains. In that there are species that exist outside of what we have been shown, is kind of how they want to say that. So we'll see how that how all of that falls together in 2023. Another big theme is nervous system regulation. Doing your best to stay in your body as all of these shifts happen, and to trust that you are being guided and held through all of these shifts. A really big purge that happened in 2022 was stepping out of hustle culture, and that was kind of put into motion in 2020. But I really felt this in 2022, where there was this rise of the divine feminine, however you want to conceptualize feminine, right? Not tying it into gender, but more of these dualistic energies that reside within us. We all have this sort of feminine and masculine, yin and yang, water and fire energy within us. So with this healing of the feminine that we saw in 2022, it was also this healing of the masculine by proxy, and that stepping away from hustle culture in the way that we had been conditioned to practice. And they also want to share too, there's a direct correlation between listening to your intuition, tapping into your psychic side, and regulating your nervous system. So finding those ways and tying into this too, this is not necessarily a strong timeline for 2023, but there will eventually be a shifting of our mental health system. Being part of it myself, being a practitioner in that system, I saw, just like with any system, I saw the need for change, and there has been a lot of pressure put on our mental health system in the past few years, just with this awakening in consciousness and understanding just how much our mental health impacts us and how much it creates our understanding and the way that we walk through the world. So just like with our medical system, there is going to be a shifting of that, and a deeper understanding of that the less tangible aspects of the world are still a part of the world. The emotional side, again, tied into the feminine too, and the sacral energy clearing. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, let's see where they want to take me now. So coming back into holding the vision and knowing that we are way more powerful than we have been conditioned to realize. They want to put the power back in our hands. They want us to continue to look, to be curious when watching those in power, when they come across our screens, when we hear their words, when we see them plastered on billboards, whatever it is, those in power, to continue to hold this lens of curiosity around why they might be in power, around what happens behind the scenes in order to be in power, and to start to understand how we have externalized our power, and to continue to bringing it back to you and the power that you hold within you. There's been this false narrative that the power lies outside of ourselves, and that is what our systems and structures have been founded upon. But all of this power lies within you. So this veil of power is going to continue to drop this year. Okay, let's get down to a little bit more nitty-gritty stuff. Again, continue to hold the vision here. Tying into how the energy is shifting much quicker in our world. It's inevitable that as these shifts go on in the world, that the earth is not going to shift as well. And we're seeing that with these more extreme weather patterns, and it feels very out of control, right? It can feel very scary. And there's two sort of lenses to hold on this. Just like with everything in the world, these shifts in climate change, it's been politicized, right? So coming back into the body and trusting your intuition in all of this, but there's one side of that we do need to treat the earth better. And I think that we are more likely to treat the earth better when we are treating ourselves better. We have more love to give when we are loving ourselves. So one of the best things that you can do is to continue to love yourself, and it's inevitable that that love will extend outwards, and that energy impacts the earth more than we know. So yes, being kinder to our earth. And there are those who are incarnated in body in this time, especially in 2023, who are going to be awakened to the work that they are meant to do with the earth. So shifting our practices around energy. And I know the term nuclear fusion has been thrown around a little bit, and that's going to be a theme this year of I love how they're phrasing it. They're saying getting your power back, but it means in more of a literal sense. I know that there has been this really big scarcity mindset of not feeling like we have enough power. But yes, we are going to be shifting away from relying on coal into more sustainable energy practices. And it's really important for people to be embodied during this time, because there are those who incarnated onto Earth to bring this shift. There are those who have had lives on other planets and prior lifetimes, understanding how to work with the energy to create these energetic sources to power the world. So there are those that will feel called to step up during this year and shift this. So holding space for that our practices will need to change. And also that Mother Earth knows what she's doing. And that with the energy becoming quicker and quicker on the planet, that is also inevitable in how our weather is impacted. And it is our job to trust Mother Earth, to trust that we are not dying, that these are shifts. And sometimes the best thing that you can do is send her love. Put your hands on the earth, send her love, feel her love back. Continue to hold the vision of a happy, healthy earth. That's what they want to say. So yeah, we're going to continue to be seeing these shifts in weather, and it's okay if it feels scary. But know that she's got this. There's no timeline from what I see where it ends in climate change disaster. It's actually the opposite. It's the same way that we've been purging through these energy centers the past few years, especially in 2022, the earth is doing the same. That was a message that came through the other day, and I was like, wow, that really makes sense of like, if we are made of the earth, if we are one with the earth, if we are going through these purges, the earth is doing the same. So again, holding these two spaces of knowing that there are practices that we can do, know that there are shifts that are going to happen. We're going to need to rely on new energy sources, but that also the earth knows what she's doing, and she wants to survive just as much as we want to survive, right? And she wants these changes for her and for us. Okay. Let me see what it says when it comes to economy and money. What do they want to say? I know that those were major things this past year, especially with how expensive 2022 felt. Okay, so they're directing my attention to crypto. So this is a timeline, and trust your own intuition when it comes to crypto. I personally haven't felt called yet to put any sort of energy and resources there, but if that's where your intuition and gut is guiding you, then that's what you need to listen to above everything else. Unfortunately, it does feel like at this time it is not necessarily the solution that we want it to be. It does have the potential. Again, I keep hearing 2024 around this time, and I know I'm not the only one who's predicted that crypto gets good in 2024. But right now, where it is at is there is too much darkness going on behind the scenes, is how I want to put that. And that unfortunately, there can be this really good intention behind it, but where we are at currently, we are going to need to dig in more and keep doing this healing work and to change our relationship to money. So let me see what they want to say about that. Seeing money as energy. Knowing that each one of us has our own spiritual bank account, has our own energetic bank account. And again, similar to what I was saying with the earth, the more that you are giving to yourself, the more you're going to see this energy come back, right? So these fluctuations that we're going to see, and I'm by no means a financial expert, so excuse my terminology, but these fluctuations that we're going to continue to see in the market this year is going to force us to step back, is going to force us to look at, hold on, and we're already starting to do this, right? Of this makes no sense. If and again, I'm no expert, but if this is just an idea and a concept, why is it running the show so much? And with this rise in spiritual healers, again, I've channeled this before, we're stepping into more of an energetic exchange rather than a tangible exchange. When we ride these waves, hold the vision and know that you are held and that you can trust what is happening. You will always be provided for. Okay. Whew. Hollywood. Oh my gosh. So just as I was referring to these, those in power earlier, Hollywood is included in that. And I'm not the only one who's channeled this. There's going to be a lot of passings in Hollywood, and people who are, the word they want to use is infamous in Hollywood, and the people who are more behind the scenes, there's going to be a lot of passings happening. And unfortunately, this is more for darker reasons, in that the practices is I'm going to put this PC, in the practices used to elevate these people and put these people in positions of power are no longer going to energetically resonate with the frequency of the planet. So we will see a lot of passings this year, and though it's time that these souls pass on to take a step back and go through the life review process that happens, and go through this healing on the other side. You know, as hard as it is to digest some of the darkness of the world, each one of these souls are doing the best that they can with the understanding and the resources that they have. Where else do they want to go with Hollywood? There's another good juicy chunk in there. Yes, okay. So there's a lot of figures being brought up into question right now. There's a lot of discussion around Britney Spears and a lot of information coming up. And when you see these big Hollywood figures like Britney Spears, Kanye West, I don't necessarily, you know, Trump is kind of been both politician and in Hollywood, and you know, he's his own very unique energetic signature. With these big public figures, and I made a video on this before, but this is a big one for 2023, is that as we start to see this darkness be unveiled and unmasked, as this continues to happen in 2023, notice the strong desire to pinpoint all of this darkness onto one person. When in reality, in order for something to be in our external world, that energetic signature, that energetic frequency also has to be present within ourselves too. So no, we may not be taking these actions and doing these things. I'm not putting the blame on us, but the energetic reality of the world that we live in is that in order for it to be in the external, it also has to lie within the internal. So we're going to continue having these discussions around good or bad with these political figures. It does feel like Britney, this is going to play out a lot with Britney in 2023. Let me see what they want to say. If there's anything else around Britney. These concepts of freedom and again, wanting to have everything be black and white and very clean cut of like, you are bad and you are good, and now we can move forward. It's not as simple as placing these labels. It's hard for me to tune into the energy of figures like Kanye or Trump, or you know, any sort of these really big figures that we're talking about, and that's for a few reasons. One, we are multidimensional beings, and so all facets of good and bad are within all of us, and we are always changing and we are always growing, so we are multifaceted. It's hard to place one label on someone. We can place labels on their actions, but them as themselves, it's harder to do that. And that's a discussion that we're going to be having, is like, also, how do these systems play a part in all of this? And is it really helpful to place these labels on people's actions? Is it going to advance us as a collective to point out the bad guys? That's a discussion that we're going to be having, because the interweavings of all of our systems, my guides have been correlating it with a spider web, is so intertwined that sort of getting to the root of all of this, it's going to be much more layered than good, bad, right, wrong. And so again, it's going to ask us to take a step back and say, how are we connected to this on an individual level? And how does our individual healing play into part of this? We're never going to be, when it comes to these figures, what my guides are saying is that we're never going to actually be able to tease out if this person is, quote, good or bad. And so that's a desire that's going to have to shift for us this year, is to let humans be more multifaceted and to allow true healing to occur for those who have wronged. And that comes into like our jail system and our law system. I wasn't planning on channeling around this, but yeah, there's going to be, with these big cases that are happening on a really massive public level. I mean, we just had Harvey Weinstein and Ghislaine Maxwell back in towards the end of 2022. It's like with these big discussions that we're having publicly, and somehow Netflix is tying into all of this, which is interesting that I'm seeing that little tidbit of information. Where did they want to go with this? Yeah, the shifting of our political system, our law and crime and punishment. There's what's really needed is a softening, and that maybe the ways that we have quote unquote punished people in the past is only further perpetuating this black and white thinking. Yeah, so continuing to soften. And this is tied into this physical softening that we're being asked to have, to release tension, to release trauma from the body, to re-regulate the nervous system. So again, what we're doing on an individual level is also showing up in the collective level. And what really wants to come home or be hammered home here is to know that you have the power to shift this. You incarnated into physical body during this time in order to shift this. Okay, let me see if there's anything else that they want to say. And this was thrown in last year too, and it didn't necessarily come to fruition. Antarctica, still keeping your eyes on that. Antarctica, there's a connection to some of the darkness that goes on behind the scenes in Antarctica, and to us really understanding just how big our world is and how galactic our world is, and how this revealing of what has gone on behind the scenes for a really long time, and continue to know that this is all part of the shifting in the collective, and that the waves that we ride this year, it's making a difference, it's making an impact. I feel called to share that not just anyone was able to reincarnate into physical body during this time. It's really a big deal what we're doing, and the energy that is present and available to us right now on Earth is vastly different than what has been available for a very long time. And that is in part of your light, that is in part of you being here. So this is the year of the healer, the propulsion of the healer. If you're watching this, you are more likely in that space or stepping into that space. So know that you are always held and provided for, but that this is going to be a really powerful year for you. With these quick timeline shifts that are happening, I feel called to say that I will be doing lots and lots of energy updates. So this was kind of like a rounding out of some of the things that I'm feeling for themes and for things to digest in the upcoming year. But yes, I will be providing a lot of energy updates as we sort of move and shift through different timelines. Let me see if there's anything else that they want to say. Continue to open your heart this year to allow the love to pour in. And this love that you're feeling is simply you. It's your essence. It's who you truly are. Know that it's available to you at any time. Simply all you have to do is put your hand on your heart, come back to yourself, peel back the layers, and remember who you truly are. Let me know what resonated with you in this video. Happy 2023. I put out a monthly newsletter. The link to subscribe will be below, where I do an energetic theme of the month, and then I just do some personal updates. Whenever I'm doing a discount on some of my services, it always goes out to my newsletter first. I give them the chance to book the spaces first. So if that's something that you're interested in, especially if you've been wanting a reading but you want to wait till I'm doing a sale or something like that, I would recommend subscribing to my newsletter. I absolutely love putting my newsletter out every month. It's so much fun for me. Yeah, if you're interested in seeing how 2023 is going to show up for you on more of a personal level, maybe some of these themes stood out to you and you're like, how can I build a better foundation in order to move through this energy on an individual level, then you can book with me. And yeah, that is all I got for you. Oh, I will be doing a small offering for New Year's. It will be on limited availability just to celebrate my birthday, which is on New Year's Day. So I am ending my Saturn return this year. So if anyone's been through their Saturn return, you know I'm turning 30. I'm very excited about it. I am sending you so much love. Happy 2023.